Have you ever looked at your email list and just wondered where everyone went? You spent all this time building it, but now a huge chunk of your audience has just gone completely silent. Well, today we're going to change that. We're going to turn that quiet list back into one of your most valuable business assets. Okay, let's dive right in.
Now, you might be thinking that trying to win back old subscribers is a waste of time. But what if I told you it could be your single most profitable move? According to some deep research from Litmus, a staggering 60% of marketers say their win-back campaigns deliver a higher return on investment than any other kind of email they send. Yeah, that's a massive opportunity just sitting there, waiting in your dormant list.
So here's the game plan. Think of this as a complete health check for your email list. First up, we've got the diagnosis, where we'll figure out why subscribers go quiet in the first place. Then we'll get into the treatment plan. That's your automated playbook to win them back. After that, it's all about preventative care, so you can build a healthier list from the get-go. And finally, we'll go over the essential rules of engagement to make sure you're doing everything by the book.
Okay, first things first. Before we can even think about fixing the problem, we have to understand the symptoms. Why do good, once interested subscribers eventually just fade away? Let's get to the root of the issue.
So one of the key vital signs for your list's health is the unsubscribe rate. The formula is pretty simple. It's just the number of people who opt out divided by the number of emails that actually made it to their inbox. But its impact? Whoa, it's huge. See, a high unsubscribe rate doesn't just mean your list is shrinking. It's a major red flag to providers like Gmail that your content might be unwanted, which can totally wreck your sender reputation and send your future emails straight to spam. So what kind of numbers should you be aiming for? Well, the benchmarks are pretty clear on this. According to ClearOut, if you're under 0.5%, you're in a really healthy spot. But if you start creeping up past 1%, that's a bit of a concern. And as Campaign Monitor points out, if you hit 2% or more, yeah, that's an alarm bell. It's a sign that something in your strategy is seriously off. So how does your list stack up? It's really easy to assume people leave just because you're emailing them too much. And look, while that's a big factor, it's actually not the main culprit. Based on a classic Epsilon study, the #1 reason, by a long shot, that people unsubscribe is because the content just isn't relevant to them anymore. They signed up for one thing and they started getting something else. It is such a powerful reminder that value and relevance always, always win. And this quote right here just hits the nail on the head. It's not about how many emails you send, it's about the value in each one. As soon as an email feels generic or impersonal or just plain not useful, that unsubscribe button starts looking really, really good. So the main takeaway here is that personalization and usefulness are your absolute best defenses against a shrinking list. All right, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now let's talk about the cure. We are officially moving from theory to action with a direct treatment plan you can set up and automate to re-engage all those quiet subscribers. Here is a super simple but incredibly effective 3-email sequence you can put on autopilot. First, you send out a friendly nudge, just a simple "we miss you" email to get back on their radar. If that doesn't get a response, follow up with a really direct confirmation. Just ask them, "Hey, do you still want to hear from us?" And for the final attempt, send a value offer, a special discount, a free guide, something to remind them exactly why they signed up to begin with. And hey, don't underestimate the power of that first email. Seriously, data from Campaign Monitor shows that a simple human subject line like "we miss you" can get up to 12% higher open rates than other win-back tactics. It's friendly, it's personal, and it cuts right through all the noise in their inbox. But does this stuff actually work? Oh, you bet it does. According to HubSpot, these kinds of automated re-engagement campaigns can successfully bring back between 20 to 30% of your inactive subscribers. Think about that. That's potentially a third of your dormant list brought back to life, ready to engage and buy from you again. But, even the best treatment plan has its limits. If a subscriber doesn't respond after that whole 3-email sequence, it's time to let them go. And listen, removing them from your list isn't a failure. It's just smart list hygiene. It keeps your engagement metrics accurate, it keeps your costs down, and most importantly, it protects your sender reputation for the long run. Okay, so reacting to a dormant list is good, but you know what's even better? Preventing it from happening in the first place. Let's shift gears to preventative care and talk about how to build a strong, engaged list that stays healthy for the long term. 2 of your most powerful tools for prevention are segmentation and personalization. Now, people use these words interchangeably all the time, but they are different. Think of it like this.
Segmentation is about creating groups. Like, here's a group of customers who bought running shoes last month. Personalization is tailoring the message to one person in that group, like an email that says, "Hey Jane, since you love those shoes, you might really dig these new socks." They work together to make your emails feel crazy relevant.
So, how can you start segmenting your list? Well, don't just stick to the basic stuff like location. The most effective segments are based on what people do. Group them by their behavior, like what they've bought before. Segment them by where they are in their customer journey, or create segments based on how engaged they are. That way, you can treat your superfans differently than the folks who are starting to drift away. So, how do you know what your different segments actually want? You test. A/B testing basically takes all the guesswork out of email marketing. If your open rates are in the gutter, test different subject lines. If nobody's clicking, test your call to action button. And if your unsubscribe rate is creeping up, try testing how often you send emails. Testing is how you turn your assumptions into decisions backed by actual data.
Finally, you've got to make this preventative care a habit. Don't wait until half your list is dead silent. The experts at ClearOut suggest a really simple rule. Run a re-engagement campaign on your inactive subscribers every 60 to 90 days. This makes cleaning your list a consistent, manageable process, not some giant, overwhelming project you do once a year.
All right, time for our final section. Building a great list and sending relevant stuff is awesome, but you also have to play by the rules. And this isn't just about best practices. We're talking about the law. And getting this wrong can be, well, incredibly expensive. The CAN-SPAM Act basically sets the rules of the road for commercial email in the US. And here are the big ones you absolutely have to know. Your from name and your subject line have to be honest. You have to clearly state that the message is an ad. You must include a real physical mailing address, and most importantly, you have to give people a clear way to opt out, and you have to honor that request within 10 business days. No excuses, no exceptions.
So why is this so critical? Because the Federal Trade Commission does not mess around. The penalty for violating the CAN-SPAM Act can be up to $53,088. And get this, that's not per campaign. That's for each separate email that breaks the rules. The stakes are just way too high to ignore this stuff.
So, as we wrap things up here, let's just circle back to the main idea. A big email list is just a vanity metric. A great email list is an engaged one. So the real takeaway here is to stop obsessing over just retaining every single subscriber and start focusing on delivering real relevance to the right ones. Quality will always be quantity. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Right now, is your email list a self-sustaining asset that's actually driving your business forward? Or is it a constant project that always seems to need fixing? With the right diagnosis, the right treatment, and a little preventative care, you can make sure it's always the former. Subscribe to the newsletter by clicking the link in the description. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell to become aware of future videos we post.